Good evening. This evening we have a Monroe-Woodbury Board of Education introduction and Q&A provided by the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce. We are happy to be able to provide this neutral platform with an opportunity to meet our candidates. We do have 4 running for 3 seats this year, 3 incumbent, 1 new, and they are John Huberth, Don Beeler, Dan Ezratty are our incumbents, and Sylvia Stanley-Dummit, who is running a little late. She had an emergency. She was kind enough to let us know, but she will be joining us as soon as she can. So as we have over the past several years, our process is that each candidate has 2 minutes of an introduction to be able to introduce themselves to the community. Then we have received questions from the public, which we will be selecting by random. We have, within our time frame, with only 4 candidates, we have time for 8 questions. If we have a little bit more time left, we'll go through all of the questions, which are 9 actually on hand for this evening. And each candidate has an opportunity to go first. We rotate, so we'll start with Dan, work our way down to Don, and then eventually we'll continue to rotate with who answers the question first, giving each candidate an opportunity to answer their question, 2 questions first. They will have 2 minutes to answer each question, should they choose, and then they will have a 1-minute closing statement at the end. So we should be done right before or on around 7:30, and we will take this time now to introduce you individually, and if you can stand to the podium for your 2-minute introduction, then when you're answering the questions, you may answer them from your table, from your chairs. Thank you. So we'll start with John Huberth.
Hello. I'd like to thank the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to speak to the assembled multitudes and the television audience. My name is John Huberth. I've been a Monroe homeowner since 1977. I'm an Amherst College and Yale University graduate, and I produce and direct films and videos for colleges and nonprofits. I'm also a Manhattanville College adjunct professor and have served on the Monroe-Woodbury School Board for 12 years. My wife, Betsy, is a remedial math teacher at Pine Tree Elementary, and our 2 daughters are Monroe-Woodbury graduates. Here is what I, Don, Dan, and the rest of our board have accomplished in the last 3 years, in a nutshell. We hired the highly regarded District Superintendent, Elsie Rodriguez. We formed a high-functioning central administrative team in curriculum, finance, HR, and technology. We worked with central administration to fashion a 3-year financial plan to bring transparency and efficiency to district fiscal management. We initiated a 5-year plan to guide curricular and facilities planning. We prepared a 5-year technology plan to take advantage of the district's New York State Smart School grant of over $4 million. We implemented plans that will bring infrastructure upgrades to the entire district and an overhaul of athletic facilities that will transform our main athletic campus. And we are working with the state to get it to provide the vast majority of that cost. We added board doc software to improve public access to board meetings and improve transparency. Thank you, Don. We revamped the district website and recently added a searchable video component on board docs for all board meetings. We have kept yearly budgets below the state-mandated tax cap, and most importantly, we have fostered a collegial and efficient working relationship between the Board of Education and the administrative team. This is some of what we have accomplished. We'd like to finish the job.
I'm sorry, one thing that I forgot to mention is with our timing, I will be providing a 15-minute warning. I will just say warning, and then when it's time, I'll say time. Thank you. Our second candidate, Mr. Don Beeler.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I think John pretty much covered all of the points. One of the things that John ended with is very important for us, and that is we have a cohesive team. We have different disciplines on the board. Now, we've been able to accomplish all that we have accomplished because of that cohesiveness. And I think that is one of the things that, in speaking even to other schools, that Monroe-Woodbury has an extremely diverse and intelligent board, outside myself. So I've lived in Monroe for 30 years. Both of my sons graduated from Monroe-Woodbury. My youngest son and his wife just bought a house here in Monroe-Woodbury, so we are longtime residents, over 30 years. And you know, most of what John said I'm not going to repeat, because it really goes to the heart of why we're here. We've really put the time in, and the most rewarding part of this is we see the difference that it makes. And that is really why we're here. This is a board who focuses on positive, tries to accomplish things that are going to make a difference going forward. And that really sums up the relationship, especially the three of us have. So with that.
Thank you, Don. Next, we have Dan Ezratty.
Evening. I want to thank you guys for coming out to spend the night with us, learn a little bit about us, maybe things you didn't know. Back in probably about 2010, my wife and I, we were living in Rockland at the time, and we had 2 young children, and we said to ourselves, you know what, this isn't where we want to be. For my wife and I, we're both teachers. I've been teaching in East Ramapo for the past 18 years. I've been on the front lines of education. I know how important it is. Education is the foundation for what you're going to do in this life. And the opportunity to go as far as you can is really dependent upon, you know, the school district you live in. So when we were looking for a house, we decided, you know what, let's look up in Monroe. My wife teaches music. She always hears about how wonderful the music program is in Monroe-Woodbury. And she wasn't wrong. We came up here and we have loved every minute of it. My daughter is wrapping up 8th grade. My son's in 6th grade. And they have had an outstanding education so far. And I don't see anything changing for them as they go on towards graduation. The school board, it's voluntary. I'm there because I want to add to the school district. The guys that I work with, the ladies on the school board, we really do have a good team. We work together in the best interest of the students, the taxpayer, the employees, and the community. And it really does matter to us what the outcomes are. We don't take this responsibility lightly. It really means a lot to us that we do things the right way, we get it right, and we make decisions that benefit everybody the best that we can. So I'm hoping that next week on Tuesday I'll get another opportunity for another 3 years. And I thank you again. Thank you for the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this evening.
Thank you. So without further ado, we will start asking our questions that were submitted by the public. The first question I'm going to ask of Dan and work my way down the table. And that first question is, how do you plan to keep our district from falling to the same demise as the Rockland County District of East Ramapo?
Very, very apropos. One of the big differences and advantages that we have in Monroe-Woodbury is the community. The community is extremely supportive, extremely involved, and really is invested in the school district, invested in the education, and invested in our community. As a school board, all we can do is the best for our children, the best opportunities, and to make sure that our school district stays strong. When you go looking for a home, people look for a school district. They don't really look for much else. That's what they want. They want a great opportunity for their children. By keeping Monroe-Woodbury a top school district, you keep people coming here. you keep people moving to the area, and you keep Monroe-Woodbury a stable, strong learning environment for years to come.
Thank you. John?
There's a lot of, there's a heightened political atmosphere around this entire topic. There's quite a bit of difference between the arrangement here and the arrangement in East Ramapo. East Ramapo has one school district and people are spread out all through it. Here, we have two school districts that, I mean, the problem with East Ramapo is that people associate the Satmar Hasidic with some of the problems that they're having in the public school district. The Satmar Hasidic here are in their own school district, which may or may not expand depending upon the results of a number of lawsuits out there for 164 acres, for 504 acres, for the town of North Monroe, should that be created. So we're waiting and have a number of options open, and if it certainly is in the benefit of this district and this community, we wouldn't hesitate to change the boundaries should the facts and figures and the political climate go that way.
Thank you. John? You want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, I got it.
How do you plan to keep our district from falling to the same demise as the Rockland County District of East Ramapo?
I think we're in a very, very different situation, as John pointed out. The main difference is there's two school districts in our region. There's some other factors that will play an important role. Our school tax rate is almost double what KJ's tax rate is. I think ours is 140 and change, and theirs is 70 something. So the idea that school district would want to expand into our tax base, it isn't financially very favorable. So I look at a lot of this, and I know there's a ton of politics around it. I'm less worried about that than I am on focusing on making sure that we provide students with the best education and we keep attracting the right types of families to our community. You know, all types where they're searching out a school district that has the best educational opportunity for their students. And I think that's the main difference when you ask anyone in this entire region what school district you're in. I mean, everyone in this room knows if you say Monroe-Woodbury, we really have the best of each.
Thank you. The next question, I'm sorry, Jens, I'm trying to keep track of time. The next question, we're going to start with John. Will you commit to cutting administrators before cutting student programs, teachers, or employees?
Sure. It depends upon the administrator and the position. It depends upon the programs, the employees. The fact of the matter is that we have our fiscal house together to such an extent with this new administrative team and Patrick Cahill in charge of finance that I don't anticipate cutting anything. In fact, my hope is that we start to expand, except the number of students in the classroom. I'd like to cut that a little bit. But we have modified sports teams, extracurricular activities, field trips, all of these things that I would like to see expanded. We have a laundry list of things that we've had to cut back on slightly over the past number of years, but we've done a pretty darn good job throughout this whole fiscal crisis that came upon this country in 2008. So I really hope to go totally in the other direction.
Thank you. Don?
So one of the big accomplishments of the board, and something we started 3 years ago when we came on, was setting strategic plans. When we first joined the board, there was a one-year financial plan. I can't fathom operating on a one-year financial plan. We quickly changed that to a 3-year financial plan. And right now we're working on a 5+ year financial plan. All of that is aligned with curriculum strategic plan. So we're in the process of putting this all together. And unlike in the past, and unlike a lot of other school districts, we're going to engage all of the people in the school district. Each one of the principals, we've already started by having the principals present their budgets at each year's budget meetings. And I think if we continue to do that, we'll focus the money on the right things. We've already saved quite a bit of money by doing that, so I don't see it affecting students or teachers.
Thank you. Dan?
Proper planning needs to be done. As the other guy said, we're not looking at 1 year, we're looking at 5 years out. Making sure that the district stays on an even level, but still improving along the way. Push come to shove, students will always come first. That's just what it is. I'm not looking to see anyone ever lose their job, but the students of this district are the priority, making sure they get the best education possible. Would I say we will explore every single option under the sun before we make that decision? Absolutely. Again, it's nothing to be taken lightly, but making sure that our students have the opportunities, have the classes that available that they want to take, and the education that they can achieve, that's what's going to come first.
Thank you. Next question, we will have Don answer first. Remember, as a school district role, sole purpose is to educate our youth and assist in their growth into adulthood. Do you believe the school should be run like a business corporation? If yes, why and how? If no, why not?
This is an easy answer. It's both. So there are certain aspects of the school that have to be run like a business. And then there's other aspects of the school that should not be run like a business. And I think understanding that perfect balance, and we're probably all going to touch on this quite a bit because it is a fundamental belief that the whole board holds right now, and that is through planning, by making long-term plans, we hope to understand, here's the curriculum that we'll need to offer 3-4 years from now. So if we have teachers that some curriculum, the interest is decreasing and other is increasing, our goal would be to give them enough runway so that they could cross over into another curriculum if it was decreasing. And it's the same way in every department, is understand what that runway looks like, understand a long-term plan so that we can financially be responsible with programs that are shrinking and be opportunistic with ones that are increasing.
Thank you. Sorry, Dan?
One of the things that the district has been getting teachers on board with is getting dual certification and looking for teachers when we hire new teachers that have dual certification so they're able to cross from one specialty to another. It increases their availability to teach classes and increases their longevity in the district. For running the district like a business, in some respects, Don's right. You have to be, financially responsible. This is taxpayer money. It's not like we're taking in millions of dollars selling a product. Our product is the education the students receive. But overall, you can't treat it like a business because these are our children. These are students. They need to get the education they deserve, and we need to provide for them, and we have to provide much more than in years past. As time's gone on, schools have been tasked with all sorts of responsibilities, and we need to address those any way we can.
Thank you. John?
Right, fiscally, we have to run it like a business. It's a big business. We have 1,200 some odd employees. We have about 6,850 students at the present time in the district. There are a lot of moving parts and we have to be efficient with it, but we're not producing widgets. We're not making those. We are trying to maximize the potential of the students that pass through this district so that they can go out and be successful in the world and happy in the world. So we try and give them as much opportunities as possible, whether it be curricular or extracurricular, whether it be athletics, field trips. It's either the teachers are so important, and what we need to do is provide the students with the greatest number of opportunities, because you never know what's going to catch on to a particular student.
Thank you. Our next question, we'll start with Dan. If you were to be on the school board, or from your experience as a school board member, what would you say is your weakness and strength as a board member and someone who is making decisions towards the education of our youth?
Weakness and strength?
Yes.
I guess as my strength, I've seen things from the other side. As a teacher, I know what it's like to be in the classroom. I know what it's like to have 24, 26 students sitting in front of you, and you need to be on, you need to know what's going on, you need to capture their attention, and it is every day. So sitting on the board, I've seen things from a different perspective, but I still have my time as a teacher to know what it's like on the other side, and to really be able to understand both sides, I think, is a real strength. My weakness, I wish I had more time. There are so many different things going on in the district, so many different events throughout, from the early elementary all the way up to the high school. I really wish I could spend more time in the schools. I could spend more time visiting the different locations throughout the district. One of the things that I really always wish I could go to is the opening day ceremonies, where Elsie invites everybody. I think that's a fantastic event. Unfortunately, that's usually my opening day for my district, so.
Thank you. John?
My weakness is an ability to grasp a vast amount of details. So I leave Don
We work good
to
together.
do that. That's right. One time I said I was the mouth and he was the brains, and he was too quick to agree with me. So that's my weakness. I think one of the strengths that I have is I think I help bring this board together so that they're not factions, that we're all pulling in the same direction, number one. Number two, I think I keep people in line to the extent that we know as a board what our function is. It is not to run the district. It is to oversee the running of the district. It is to hire the best people we can and get out of their way so that they can do the best job they can. Empower them to all get out. In other words, be cheerleaders for this district and have people feel good about it.
Great, thank you. Don?
I think John hit on it. I think some of my strengths are on the business side, the planning side, but my weaknesses are on the arts and entertainment. And it's funny, when you first asked that question, I immediately looked to John thinking, this really is a great board, because the one thing that you will find consistently with this board is we listen to each other. And fundamentally, that's a strength of everyone on the board, because we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But as a rule, we won't see those surface, because if it's a discipline that one of the people on the board has, people respect the other board members that have that discipline and tend to let them run with the pieces that they really feel that their strength is in it. And as John pointed out, we have great leadership in that way, and we do not try to run the school. We try to oversee to make sure that it's run correctly.
Great, thank you. The next question, we'll start with John, and that is, will a district be changing its boundaries? Why or why not?
Well, I thought I answered that in a way before. The district will be changing its boundaries depending upon how things shake out. There are now some negotiations going on about the town of North Monroe. We've started a number of studies, but at this point, we're holding them in abeyance because there's so many moving parts politically. As things start to shake out, we'll assess this situation, and if it is in the best interest financially for this district, we will change the boundaries. And also added to the finances is to the well-being of the entire community. That is very, very important to us. So I'm not going to say yes or no, but people should not be staying up too late at night fretting.
Thank you. Don?
So this is a fundamental question that is always asked and often confused. When you talk about which direction should you go, changing a boundary of a school isn't a strategy. You know, that's a tactic. So when I look at this and I say, look what's going on with Tuxedo, look what's going on with Greenwood Lake, look what's going on with other schools in the area, not just the KJ situation. And the thing that I feel really proud about is the administration has embraced our call to put together a very long-term strategy. And I think when you look at how that's going to benefit the employees of the district, the students of the district, what that means is whether we expand or contract, we have a strong strategy. That means if there's another school district, and this will start to happen, it's a natural progression. More important is you'll see school districts consolidate. You know, that's just a never. So what we look at is how do we build the best team? How do we have a long-term strategy so that we can prove that we can function regardless of an expansion or a contraction? You have to stick to the strategy.
Thank you. Dan?
Not much more I could add to this. The issue is being looked into. We're gathering all the information possible so that when the time comes in the future, all right, that time will come eventually, we will have an excellent idea of what we need to do that's best for the district. This is not something that's going to be happening tomorrow, the next month. This is something that has to be taken care of through the courts, through the county, dealing with Curious Joel, and we need to just prepare for it and sort through all the information available so we can make a proper decision.
Thank you. The next question, we will start with Dan. And it is, what do you feel your greatest contribution has been as a board member or will be if voted in?
Greatest contribution as a board member?
Yeah.
Probably my years in the classroom and just, you know, knowing what it's like. Everybody on the board has, you know, various, you know, occupations, backgrounds, where they come from. The financial stuff, the business side of it, Don, Mike, and Chris are really well suited to it. John is outstanding as the spokesperson for the board. Salute you. But overall, I know what it's like on the education side of things. And when issues come up, I'm able to contribute and voice a perspective that is more uniquely on the teacher side.
Thank you. John?
I'm going to focus in on actually just one thing. After we hired Elsie Rodriguez as the superintendent of schools, the president of the Board of Education and the superintendent of schools meet quite often. We set the agendas for the meetings, and there's a lot to talk over on a weekly basis, and sometimes more often, and then to communicate to the board. I think one of the things that I've enjoyed, and I think has been that I've done well, is establish a really collegial and productive relationship with Elsie Rodriguez. It's not hard because she's absolutely terrific. Boy, did we choose well, and I just thank our lucky stars that we have a leader like that. And we are going in the same direction, and it's a joy to meet with her and talk to her about some of her ideas about advancing the curriculum and education in this district. It's very exciting.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, I think, again, John touched on it. It's really the ability for everyone on the board to listen to each other's opinion. That's not over-speaking.
What?
And you'll notice if you're totally bored to watch a board meeting, John and I have that great relationship all the time. But I think what I think that contribute to it is the longer term planning. And the other part is listening to other people who have ideas. And I think that's true of everyone on the board. And that's what makes it, each one of us able to really excel.
Thank you. The next question, we will start with John. If you had to make cuts, what decisions do you believe would have the least impact on student education and growth? Administrative cuts, teacher staffing cuts, class choices, and electives, activities for students?
This is deja vu all over again. And we have this question before, and didn't I say I wouldn't make any cuts? And actually, the board doesn't make cuts, and the board doesn't hire. We approve what the administration, or disapprove, but so far we haven't, of what the administration recommends. We are elected from all walks of life. Some of us have more experience in education than others. Who has the experience in education is the administrative team. So if we were to tell them, well, let's cut teachers instead of this, let's cut programs instead of that, that would be us meddling in what they have been charged with and have degrees and education and experience in.
Thank you. Don?
I'd have to agree. This is one of the fundamental responsibilities of a board. We're not supposed to run the school. The experts are running the school. In our case, we're very fortunate that we have extremely good people at the top. So in our case, it would be a function of they would come to us and give us options and say, this is what we recommend. If there's more than one options, we would have an open discussion and it would result in whatever those recommendations are. And I've been on quite a few boards, this is what destroys organizations, where board members try to get involved in this aspect of it. The administrators know best what needs to be increased and decreased when you're facing financial, either when you get additional money or when you get cut money.
Thank you. Dan?
We hired an outstanding superintendent. She's brought in fantastic people for her cabinet. They are in charge of making these decisions. They would go through, decide what's best, and present it to the board. I have absolute faith that they would make outstanding decisions that are in the best interest of everyone involved.
Thank you. The next question will start with John. And that is, we all come to the table with personal beliefs, political agendas, and emotional connections. How will you be sure to view and make decisions for the school that is in the best interest of the students, faculty, and community, and to not be swayed by your own interests or personal beliefs?
So a great example of this is the hockey program. Some of you that know me know I still play hockey. And I know most of the hockey parents that are involved in the program. And I was very, very happy to see the hockey program survive. And the program that we ended up working out is long-term. But again, it goes back to the personalities on this board. There are some agendas, but they're very minor. And the majority of the people do not express political agendas. It is only one thing: what is best for the students and what is best for the taxpayer. And students always come first. So that, if you said we had an agenda, I think universally the board always agrees on that. So that, when we look at something where I had a personal interest in the hockey part of it, we still came to a compromise. No one tried to use undue influence in the final decision, but in the end, it worked out really well.
Thank you. Dan?
Anybody who takes this job for their own personal gain is despicable. That's not why you get onto the school board. You get onto the school board to do good things and to make the district better. I know for me, I am overly sensitive about getting involved in things. So if there's something going on in school with my kids, I send my wife. I don't want to be a presence in the room. That's not what I'm there for. I think the board overall focuses on the task at hand of improving the district and doing what's right. And I don't think that anybody, either sitting on this stage or sitting in the boardroom with us, has an agenda to really further their own cause. And if they try to, I wouldn't stand for it myself. I'd say something.
Thank you. John?
I think there's a difference between having your own agenda and having your own interests. If you come in with an agenda, you're coming in with blinders on to the rest of the district, to the rest of all of the opportunities in the district. We all have our own interests. I mean, you have experience as a teacher, you're in technology. I come from a world of the arts, but we're not solely that. We're interested. We have to do the 30,000-foot view of the whole district, because as I said before, you never know where a student is going to get that spark. So I'm not going to say, oh, the drama program and the music program and all of that, we have to have those to the exclusion of anything else. They're important because they're going to spark the interest in some people. Athletic programs, if you knew my athletic ability, you'd run screaming from the room. But it's a very important component to have in a school district. So we have all of our interests, but I think we rise above them for the good of the entire district and the good of all of the students, and where those different things will make a difference for those students.
Thank you. And our final question is, we're breezing right through this. What measures do you propose we take as a district to monitor and control the increase of drug use and awareness of new dangerous drugs?
And who goes?
Sorry, this starts with Dan.
One more time for me?
Oh, sorry, yes. What measures do you propose we take as a district to monitor and control the increase of drug use and awareness of the new dangerous drugs?
Again, our central office staff, they're the ones who are going to ultimately decide what we do. Drug use is a horrible, pervasive plague on not just our schools, but on society. Making sure that we can keep them out of our schools is extremely important. There's nothing that a parent wants to hear along those lines. We need to make sure we are doing what we can, the best we can, to keep substances out of our schools, out of our children's hands.
John?
The school district reflects the community, and the community reflects the school district. It's a yin and yang thing. We have and will continue to work with the community on fostering programs, whether it be police enforcement or social workers out there. I think we can only solve it. We're not going to solve it in the school, and we're not going to solve it just at home. We have to solve it as a team, so that parents are brought in, teachers are brought in, various experts and officials are brought in, and we are all taught the various ways that we can bring this epidemic down, because it's so disheartening. I mean, one of our board members has great interest in this and has helped really foster a lot of these programs, but they have to be cooperative programs. They have to be at home, they have to be in the community, and they have to be in the school district. They have to be everywhere.
Thank you. John?
the drug epidemic is one of the epidemics that we have. And I think looking at it, I'm chairman of Orange Regional Medical Center. We have community outreach programs. And the one thing that we've learned is you can't boil the ocean. And you have to look at this and say, what are the resources that are available? How do we best use the resources that are available to us? And make sure that we take advantage of that. But again, it's not a single focus. You know, we deal with other school districts where you'd be amazed. You know, it's just having toothpaste and toothbrush in New York State is a big deal for them. So I think the challenge is balancing what is available, both from the government, from private industry, and using that in the district to its best advantage, and not trying to be singly focused, so that we broaden out all of our programs so that we address more than just the one issue. Because frankly, you know, we aren't by ourselves going to solve it, but working with others, we can improve it. And I think that's true with food, shelter, drug, you know, all of the things that we are challenged with.
Thank you. And unfortunately, Sylvia wasn't able to join us this evening. That's all the questions that were submitted by the public. We did have 9 questions. We planned for 8, but that worked out well. We will now close. You each have a 1-minute closing statement, and we will start with Don.
Thank you for electing me the last time, and I hopefully next Tuesday we can continue the great work that we've started and continue to make a difference for Monroe-Woodbury. Thank you.
John.
Well, I wrote this down.
You were always supposed to go first. You have the list.
I wrote this down. Don and Dan and I will always focus on students to provide a varied curriculum with athletic and extracurricular programs that help our children achieve their full potential. We will remain vigilant and engaged with the KJ annexation process and its potential impact on the school district. Our school district represents our community. We will advocate for any district boundary change should that be in the best interest of our students and taxpayers. We will continue long-term strategic plans for financial stability. At the moment, we are working with the state to have it contribute a majority of the capital improvement funds over the next few years so that it doesn't fall on the shoulders of our taxpayers. We will work together as a team, hand in hand with the administration, in a positive and productive manner. We will continue to represent the needs of all our students and taxpayers. We have a well-thought-out strategy aligned with long-term plans to provide the best outcome for everyone. Help us continue the work of these past 3 years and come out and vote on Tuesday.
Thank you. And Mr. Dan Ezratty.
I guess I get to wrap things up this evening. You probably sat in the audience, watch at home, and not much excitement. And there's a reason for that. We get along not only as people, but as a board. We work together, and believe me, not everybody, we're not lockstep. It's not, we're all gonna say the same thing, we're all gonna agree all the time. That doesn't happen. But I want you to know that we do care about the outcomes in all the district does. It really does matter to us. As you can probably tell, the immense salary that we all receive of $0, all right, this isn't a job that you take for the money. This is a job that you take because you really care about what happens in your community, for your children, for your neighbors, and for Monroe-Woodbury as a whole. So I hope that next week on Tuesday, first I hope everybody comes out and votes, all right? It's important to be part of the process. Sitting at home just isn't the right thing to do. But when you do come out, I really hope that you look back on the past 3 years that the 3 of us were on the board, and you can say, you know what, maybe I don't like everything that went on, but these guys, they really do care what happens in the end. And you know what, let's let them run another 3 years. Again, thank you, and have a good evening.
thank you. And again, in closing, I just want to thank Mr. John Huberth, Mr. Don Beeler, Mr. Dan Ezratty, and Ms. Sylvia Stanley-Dummit for giving us notification that she might not be able to make it this evening. I want to thank the public for all of their submissions of questions. I'd like to thank the Monroe-Woodbury staff who is helping us this evening to put on this event. I'd like to thank the public who came out tonight. Thank you so Hi guys, thank you. And I hope that you all have an opportunity to view this video. It will be live on the Monroe-Woodbury website, as well as the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce website, which is Woodbury Chamber of Commerce, oc-ny.com. We have learned that there are quite a few Woodburys all across the nation, so we've had to be a little long with our address. In the meantime, as Mr. Ezratty mentioned, please make sure that you come out next Tuesday, May 16th, to vote. I think the voting polls are open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
6 to 9.
So very good. Thank you so much. We are all proud to be in a wonderful school district, and make sure that you exercise your opportunity to vote. Thank you.